It is Sports Zone here on Joy Prime with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Show proudly brought to you by Guinness Soccer Bet. They have made it possible for us to assemble here tonight to bring you unravel conversations about all the major sporting issues that have happened in Ghana and beyond. In studio are the usual faces, Daniel Cranton and Citrus Philip Ashim. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, good to be here.
How you do? How you doing?
Very well.
Already you were in the presence of the Lord.
Yeah. Greater Works 2026.
You were at the grounds or you were following?
I was following him.
Right.
Yeah.
But you were elevated to be in the Spirit.
In the Spirit, in the presence of God. All through the week, right? Monday to, when was it? Sunday. Yeah. Super. I love the fact that we are covering it. So catch it every night here on Joy Prime TV.
So what did God tell you?
Oh, I was following. Obviously, I couldn't follow the full thing because I was also preparing for it. Happens every year. Yeah. Usually we cut into it, but this time around we allowed it to play. You can't stop the Lord when He's moving. To play.
Yeah, we are all in the Spirit. Yeah. Let me take you to the University of Ghana Stadium. Last year, we had the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. I just want to bring you some excerpts of what happened during that last Invitational Tournament. And also, we'll also be talking about this year's event, which is going to be happening on August 29. That is the Chief of Staff on your shot earlier. And Patrick of ARB Apex Bank. This was the Arm Wrestling Championship where Philip Sitiofe Ashim was at the heart of it. In fact, he was the key MC of that event. Charlie, that adversity, see Loris, see the way Loris is. Well, another invitational tournament is happening. And this year is going to be happening at the University of Ghana Stadium on August 29. And if you're a corporate organization that wants to be a part of it, last year we had about 51 companies participating. We are hoping that this year, many of you will come out again wanting to be a part of this event. This was the Lime and Spoon, also services on your shot there, in Kulenu Industries as well. There was Star Assurance. All these companies were there for the invitation. ECG, Electricity Company of Ghana, were all there. ARB Apex Bank there. All Ash Former as well, all showed up for the event at the University of Ghana Stadium. And this year is going to be another massive one. Philip, as you watch, you bring back memories of last year, isn't it?
No, obviously, I mean, it was a good event. Lots of the companies, corporate world showed up. And it was really competitive. You know, sometimes you think it's just going to be the fun, but everybody really wanted to win. So they brought on that competitive edge, and everything was, you know, fun and smooth. And I love the fact that they're also very receptive, very respectful of, you know, rules. Yeah. Easy to work with. I won't say control, but easy to work with. Yeah. Once the instructions beaming through the speakers, they adhere to it. So yeah, come on board a lot more. Let's have more fun this year because it's going to be bigger and better. So yeah, sure. Can't wait.
Yeah. Aside the fun in the games, there's a lot that also goes around, obviously. Business deals are brokered, connections are made, networking, and people also find their wives and their husbands. Because we've heard stories like that throughout the years. Last year, I think it was a Yumi Yogurt guy in a Zenith Bank, a girl that linked up.
They matched up.
Yeah, we got the save the date earlier this year. So things are happening. So for those of you who are single, where is my camera? Those of you who are single out there, you are searching. They say, who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. So the men come there and open your eyes and look. Maybe the Lord will be directing you to your partner. You never know. A lot of things happen. Yeah. When he shows up, he shouldn't run to the top and be eaten. He should look, open his eyes and look. Because people are finding wives and husbands. So, yes, look sharp.
In fact, if you are the letter self can find a husband there, it'd be normal.
Oh, she has, eh?
Oh, no, she was just telling me that, she needs to come there since some people have been able to match up. Yeah. She also needs to show up and find. And who finds a man finds a good thing.
Yes. A wife.
No. Because it is her That's what I'm saying. She who finds a man finds a good thing. So the Just Boss Invitational Tournament is happening on August 29. If you're not picked up a form, please do. Come to our multimedia group or also go on myjoyonline.com. You will find a form there, pick it up, and then, or if contact the telephone number there, 024-237-6445. You'll be speaking to Slevin. He will guide you how you can pick up. In fact, just a couple of minutes ago, Alisa Hotel reached out to me to pick up a form to register for the Invitational Tournament. Alisa Hotel, they've always been with us, so also get in touch and pick your form. 024-237-6445 to be a part of the event. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Business opportunities are going to be created. Long-lasting relationships are going to be built. And you may just find your wife or your husband over there. So show up at the University of Ghana Stadium on August 29. That is it for Invitational Tournament. Let me take you to Glasgow and bring you the final of the men's 4x100 meters relay, an event Ghana, earlier, Ghana was in a position hoping to be able to make the podium, the position where the anchorman, Samino, received the baton. If you were an avid fan of track and field, you probably would have thought that this was Ghana's race to finally make a podium in a global competition. But unfortunately, it never worked that way. Let's bring you the highlights of that 4x100 meters relay final. The podium here in the men's 4x100 meters relay final in the Commonwealth Games. Let me start with Dana Crampton. You saw that race, the point where Rashid picked the baton, and like as an athletics person, you just thought he should be able to see this through for a second place.
Yeah, look, it's unfortunate because we should have been on the podium. I think it was a very good race. When I saw the running positions, I was a bit worried because we've done something for a while, and you don't change a winning team.
Yeah.
Joe Paul usually does the third leg, Azamati does the second leg. But this time it was switched. Azamati started, Joe Paul went second through BlackQueens and then Samino. But the only position that was untouched was Samino.
Yeah.
So you expected him to at least be able to finish it off properly. Yes, it was close when he received the baton, but an inch is an advantage in a relay because everybody starts in motion. So he received the second after the Australian, and I thought he would have been able to maintain it at least till the end. If not second, then maybe you drop down to third. But to be beaten within the last 7 or 5 to 7 meters to the line, it's a bit disappointing because a similar thing happened in the African Games. No, the African Championships, where we received the baton in a pretty good place, and then I think it was Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria that came out of nowhere and then beat us to it. But look, the thing is, we've had a solid golden generation of athletes, but we need to understand that some of them are on the decline now, and the rebuild needs to start. The likes of Dadzi and BlackQueens and Samino himself should begin to carry the mantle because it's quite unfortunate that in terms of the global competitions, this group wasn't able to win anything. You go back to, I think was it a Commonwealth Games or World Championships where we were disqualified for some funny thing. They ended up not running.
That was the Commonwealth Games.
We didn't have
in Birmingham.
We didn't have we're supposed to go with a spare. We didn't have a spare.
No, that one was the World Championship.
Yes, we didn't run.
But the Commonwealth Games were supposed to run. We did changes to the arrangement of the team.
We didn't inform.
And didn't communicate to the officials.
Yeah.
So two massive.
Yeah, two. And it was that one where
mentioned the official who did
it was that Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
As for the World Champions, the guys were injured. But it was that Commonwealth Games where I thought the boys were primed. The times were really good leading into that, and we probably would have been on the podium. But we missed a good opportunity, and again, yesterday, I think we missed or Saturday, we missed a really good opportunity. but you have to look forward to the next one. There's a World Championship coming next year, which is a big deal. The boys have already shown the ability to reach the finals of the competitions. They missed out on the podium at the last World Championship by literally hundredths of a second. So it is possible. The thing is, if you are hoping that the professionals will have a decent season, but the fact that now we are a bit more reliant on the guys who are still in school, the Dadzies and the BlackQueens, if they can have a really good season next season and go into that World Championships with much better form, hopefully we can finally be on the podium. It's a lot to ask, but when you look at their talent levels, you just feel like this is something that this group can do, and hopefully they're able to get it done.
CQ, if you are followed Rashid Samino, when he was a student, it seems he was faster than his transition to professional. What is actually the challenge? Is it that he no longer has the best of environments to get himself ready? He no longer has the best of athletes around him to compete and get himself ready? Or is it that sometimes they even blame the spikes because the sponsor is giving you the spikes? If the spikes are not good too, it's a challenge.
It's a couple of things, really. When you're a student, it's a group of people who are doing this together. You easily get people that motivate you. You easily have your next competition by you because you're all students, you're competing in the same school. You're all looking at your times, and it's almost mandatory, really, to go through the paces. When you become a pro, then it comes down to your mental toughness and how ready you are to take up this challenge. And so there are a couple of, I'm not saying it's not doing that, I'm just saying that it's different from when you're a student. Then when you become a pro as well, you are more responsible for yourself. Yeah. When you're a student, the school is responsible for you because you are there for the purpose. But I still think, it's still talented, it's still very young. And it's just like that in sports sometimes. There are years where you don't have your best form, and then you can easily pick it up as well. I think he himself will be the first to hold up his hand and say that maybe in that last 10 meters, last 7, as Danny mentioned, he didn't really get going. And maybe could have finished third, but just lost a bit of steam in the end. And then he can, get better next season, build himself up for when the World Championship is around the corner. Because, like we said, some of the more reliable athletes are getting to the wrong side of the age when it comes to athletics. So these young ones have to pick it up.
I don't know, BlackQueen, Ibrahim, Fuseni, then Bushu, there's Dazi. These are the athletes we should be looking at maybe in the foreseeable future to pick up the mantle. But you look at what the likes of Joseph Paul Amoa, the likes of Benjamin Azamati have done for this group, and you're actually wondering whether if BlackQueen, Dazi, and co find their way into it, they'll be able to maintain what these boys have been able to do in the last 7, 8 years?
Look, it'll be very difficult because even if you look at the times, Joe Paul, Azamati were setting national records when they were in school.
Yeah.
So they've hit that standard. If you look at both students, yes, they are clocking really good times, but as compared to Azamati and Joe Paul, they are still a bit below. I think James Dazi now has the
200 meters
record for 200.
Yeah, but 1979?
79, which is a very impressive time.
Yeah.
But in terms of consistency, both Azamati and Joe Paul, at least if they don't do cry, they are there and thereabouts. Like they are good enough to compete.
The likes of Emmanuel Frimpong, the likes of Sean Safo and Chi, they were all around. They've all.
But those two have remained. And that's the thing, is the consistency. And think about it. Those two are always good enough to at least be qualified for the big competitions. Yeah. So they're always there. If you're looking at the 200, you're looking at the 100. Azamati and Joe Paul will always be there. As to whether they reach finals or win anything, that's different. But we've not had this in a very long time. In fact, I think the most consistent we saw was Aziz Zakari in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was always in the World Championships. And these two are giving us that. So I think we just need to understand where we are. Maybe, and that's the thing about life. The person will end before when you go back and you're thinking about it, before you begin to appreciate what you have. But these two have been so consistent, and they have been part of the story. The only consistent part of the story since 2019, ever present, reaching Olympic finals, something we hadn't done in years, reaching World Championship finals. the fact that they've qualified for, was it 5 World Championships in a row? They've qualified for 3 Olympics in a row, possibly going to be a 4th one. It's crazy what they are doing, but I still feel like in all this, when you are reading the record books and you go back, a medal is something that is very difficult to erase. Somebody might come and do better time, somebody might come. But once you have that medal, it stays with you forever. And I'm really hoping, yes, they've had African medals because you've been African champions before. They've won the All Africa Games. But it's different when you do it on a
even a silver medal in the last African.
The last one, yeah, we hosted, so we don't like silver. But when just hopefully, and we saw the potential at the last World Championships, and I looked at it and I was like, look, this is it's like the World Cup of athletics, and we were hundreds of a second away from clinching it.
7.79.
It was crazy. Look, they broke the national record in the semi-finals. And then in the final, they set it fast. They broke it again. Not the one.
And in fact, they actually had the 4th fastest time in the world
at the time. Yeah. So they are that good. And again, when you are planning this, we can just hope that Azamati just maintains, because this season he's done a number of 10 flats.
Yeah.
He did double season's best in the round 1 and the semi-finals. Just maintain that. Joe Paul, be competitive in the 200 and hope that the likes of, if it's Botsio or Fuseni or it's Dadzi or Bokpin or whoever, can also improve on their time. And hopefully when it comes together, we can have that really good race in the final and not in a semi-final or not in a heat. But it will happen in the final, to come together in the final. And if that happens, we'll all be very happy. Because again, I hate to see people work hard and not be rewarded.
No, but the point is, we've seen the talent, and with the lack of support they've had from the country, how close they've come to success. So you wonder if there was a real proper plan from the country for this group. They probably would have been on the podiums that we thought they should have been
many years ago, actually.
Because it's just margins. It's just that 1 or 2 things you're going to do to improve their conditions over the others. So even if without those things they are competitive enough, imagine if they had those. So sometimes we let these athletes and our young men down in this country, and it's a shame.
Let's now look at the overall participation of Team Ghana. 2 medals. The last event, Ghana had 5.
Yeah.
That's a huge drop. And we were having a conversation early this morning about the likes of Wahid, who has been an amateur fighter at the Commonwealth Games since 2014. 12 years on, he's still fighting. Since that medal he won many years ago, he's been struggling to be able to put himself in a position to claim another medal. If you take a look at the entire performance of Team Ghana, how would you rate it, Danike? How would you rate it?
Look, I think it's a fair reflection of where our sport is as a country. We are not serious with it, and you don't expect to maintain certain results. It will always be declining. If something doesn't change, we'll just keep declining. And it hurts me for the sportsmen, because then it looks like they are the ones who are not doing well. But there's a method to success. Everybody else who is serious about it is following a certain method. There's investment, there are facilities to train, the coaching is at a top level. And we can see there are countries that were not doing well in athletics, all of a sudden they are doing well. Countries that were not doing well in fact, when was the last time you saw a West African country doing well in the field events? All of a sudden, we've had a world champion in Burkina Faso, was it Zango? Yeah. We've had shot put, the Nigerian guy doing. Things are changing because people are...
Even javelin.
Even javelin, the Kenyan in javelin. So people are beginning to put the work. There's talent, but there's a method to success. We sit down there, we say we are good boxers, and we think that when you are born in Bukum, there's a spirit that enters you, and all of a sudden you're able to beat everybody in the world. And we've abandoned everything that follows success. And it hurts me because if you go and you look at the work they are doing in Bukum, all they need is somebody who is serious about it to push them. We have a factory of raw talent, and we are just wasting it. And for me, this is what you get. And probably the next time, if we are not lucky and the Commonwealth Games happens again,
we may not even qualify.
We may not even qualify, because look at how we struggled to qualify for boxing and the Olympic Games. Yeah. And if somebody was serious, you would want to see change. And it hurts me because we remember the show, the game plan we had where Nilante van der Poel called into the show and was so upset. And that was when he was in opposition. Yeah. And you think somebody with that much knowledge in sport, we would think that something would change when But it's the same thing where it's getting worse. So then again, at this point, like, what's it talking for?
I had a conversation with Neeland.
It's very sad.
He said in boxing has become more corrupt than even football.
Yeah, it cuts across everything. For me, like I said, I feel
The man has literally given up.
yeah, I feel
If
sorry.
he's giving up, then why should they?
No, I feel sorry for the young boys, and of course the girls competing in all the disciplines because look, we've seen Rose, pure talent,
Boy, yeah.
amazing talent, but the only thing she can rely on is her natural ability. But what is required to take her to the next level? She will never really get the support from the state if she doesn't get it elsewhere. And it's the same across every discipline. When it comes to swimming, we've spoken about the track boys. The field is the same. Even when we hosted the African Games, not the champion, all African Games here, the African Games, we saw how preparation were for athletes.
Yeah.
You know, and we saw when our badminton athletes were going to play, some of them had to go in. Some of them they didn't have their gears. Some of them their shoes were oversized or undersized. It's every bazaar. So you don't expect these athletes to go and compete against people who have a backing of a country or systems that give them the best preparation. So for me, when I look at the medals that we've won, it's actually a lot of credit to those who have done well to get into those zones than the fact that the athletes have not done well. It's not their fault. If the Blasters go out there to go and play football, I can blame Semenyo that after all he did as he came to Blasters and he flopped. But of course, but when it comes to these ones, we can't blame them because we don't spend even a dime on them. We don't get them the best preparation. We don't get them the best coaches. We don't enhance capacity, you know. Because we could have said that, okay, because you're going for Commonwealth Games, the year leading to it, the 6 months leading to it, we are going to hire coaches for specific disciplines to take them through. So you bring more hands on boxing, you bring more hands on athletics, people to just work around. It's a project. When we're going to the AFCON, we're ready to sack our coach and bring in a more experienced one. Why don't you treat other disciplines like that? Some of them go without technical people around them. Yeah. So they go with the knowledge they had when they were young and they were training. Some of them we have to video call people.
Church stickers.
You know, some of them have to video call people to help them through some drills when they are training and what have you. And you want them to come back with medals. How? So my point is, if we don't want to do the sports, let's be clear that we don't want to do it so that we save ourselves from this embarrassment and everything. Don't waste money on some of these things. So it's a shame. But the point is, there's so much talent. When you go to Bukom, when you go to people doing a lot of things, so much talent. But again, the state keeps failing them. As
Abigail Kwarteng will say, don't expect anything from us because you didn't put anything for us to get here. Those quotes from that girl will always continue to ring in my mind whenever we have conversation about Ghana sports. We are going to sanguine the conversation into women's football. The African Women's Cup of Nations currently happening in Morocco. Ghana suffered a 1-0 loss against Cameroon. We'll bring you highlights of that game. That was a solitary goal scored. Ghana got an equalizer, but VAR had said that, no, that was not a goal, and ruling is off. So Ghana lost 1-0. So far, the Queens have won 1, lost 1, and they're up against Mali in the final round. The man on the beat for us is Lawrence Beidou, courtesy of support from Bank of Africa and Goldfields. That has made it possible for us to cover this year's Women's African Cup of Nations. Lawrence Beidou, how are you? Wow, look, Morocco too, the internet no good. I'm mute. We can't hear you. Your internet is too poor. Maybe you are still using Ghana internet too. While we wait for Lawrence to get a better connection to speak to us, Sicho, did you see the performance of the Queens yesterday? I was asking myself the question, what happened to the Queens between 2025 and 2026? Because what we saw in 2025, it appears like they don't have that rhythm. There's no telepathy. Most of the players are not hitting their peak in this tournament. What is actually happening?
It's football, it happens. And I think I said exactly this last week when we sat here, that scrap everything that happened last year. it will never be the same going into this competition. Everything is going to be different.
So we should lower our expectations
Not lower
that the girls can...
No, not lower, but the girls or Ghanaians shouldn't think that because they were semi-finalists from the last edition, it is their barest minimum place to go and maybe then hope that they build on that. You forget about the last competition. This one is different. It's almost like an AFCON. The reason why not too many teams win the AFCON back-to-back, even though it's a 2-year interval, is because football changes quickly. Players' form can change from 1 year to the other very quickly. Some game time, some injury, a lot of issues, your bodies will change and everything. Your form will dip, some will go up. But the key thing is a lot of other teams are getting better. In the women's game, we've seen Malawi, we've seen how good it can be as well. We saw how tough it was for Nigeria in the end. Of course, they got a woman center, but they went on to get a business done. Yeah. When I look at our team, I think we're a bit slower than we were the last time. Technically, we are gifted, but we just don't have enough pace in the team to get past people. And sometimes players a little bit overdo it. I've seen Kusi sometimes trying to dribble too much. Yeah. Boyholga is not the same as we saw him, and it happens. And sometimes at the group stages in tournaments, it happens. It's the pressure is still there. Your key players have not necessarily got the goals in, so they are still looking for it. They're overdoing things. But I think yesterday's game was one that the referee didn't also help too much. Yeah. I thought there were some decisions that went against the team, some fouls that you could have allowed the game. So the rhythm of the game was, especially in that first half. Yeah. But that can be an excuse for the girls because we know they are better. But I just think coming into this tournament, especially in the first game, in the second, even though they won the first game, and in the second game as well, I think they don't have enough sharpness in the game. Too slow. Yeah. And even when they get the moments to counter or break, it's easy for opponents to recover and get into defensive zones. So I'm sure these are things they themselves would know. The coach is going to work on it and maybe get the best out of some of our best players. And if some of our best players are not getting it going, he probably doesn't need to consistently play them through the struggle unless he doesn't have the options to back that up. Yeah,
not playing them through the struggle will mean that he should be able to draw some of those players. Lawrence Bedu, are you back with us? Oh. Mr. Bedu. It appears Lawrence's network is continuing to behave funny. Danny K. Like he's in the hotel. Talk to me about what you've seen from the Queens so far. From the perspective of some of us, I would describe it as underwhelming, actually.
Quite the opposite. It's a tournament. I've liked the way they've handled themselves. Against Cape Verde, I thought was efficient. First, opening games in tournaments are very difficult to play, especially when you are favourites. It's very difficult for you to go out and boss the opposition. You've not played competitive football in a very long time. We've seen the timing of this competition, which is a bit problematic for everybody.
And the way they even postponed it and all that.
The whole thing for players is difficult to get your... But that's an excuse for everybody. But the point is, when the competition starts, it's very difficult for you to find your best form in the opening games. It usually builds. So I thought they were very efficient against Cape Verde. Cameroon are a very difficult side. They are annoying to play. But I thought the girls played much better in that second half. They created chances, and it was just fine margins. They could have gotten the goal. But I look at the situation we are in, and I look at the situation we were in last year. Last year, after 2 games, we lost against South Africa. We drew our second game against Mali, and we had 1 point after 2 games. We had to beat Tanzania to qualify. We beat them by 4-1, and we qualified. This is a very similar Malian team to last year. And when I look at their games, I think the Queens can go out and get the needed result. All we have to do is to avoid defeat. I think we'll win. But I think God is also working because we all want to qualify for the World Cup. But if you look at what is happening in Group C, Malawi are top. Both Nigeria and Zambia are now struggling for second place. It means most likely one of them is going to go home. And if we are top that group, we would have been facing one of them. So I think God has changed our destiny.
But Malawi are not an easy team.
So, no, Malawi are not an easy team.
In other words, you you don't want to play either Nigeria or Zambia.
You don't want to play. You don't want to
play Malawi, a team that defeated Nigeria.
No. You see, listen, it's a tournament. If I ask you, who would you rather, let's say, FIFA Men's World Cup. If Argentina are not on form and they qualify from the group stages, would you rather face them or you rather face, let's say, a Norway? You would rather face a good team but inexperienced, who maybe you can grind it out and use your experience to get the better of them than a team that is very experienced. They are winners.
Yeah.
And now they can smell blood. Because if Nigeria qualifies and they get to the knockout round,
they'll win it.
Forget.
They'll win it.
Forget. You see, don't kid yourselves. Don't do. They'll beat you. They'll find a way to get the better of you. So for me, it's better for us to reach the knockout rounds and face Malawi, a team who's also there for the first time. They don't necessarily know. We have fresh experience from last time around. Yeah. We can use that, and the girls will get better. We can use that to get the better of them. So I'm a bit measured in my, and it's a tournament. Look, until you qualify for the knockout rounds, don't talk too much. We've seen teams at this last World Cup. I can boldly say Colombia are a much better team than England. But England finished third. Colombia went home after round of 16. It's not how well you play. Get the job done. And for me, I'm very sure that the Queens can get the job done. Get the result against Mali. And then we move. From Thursday, we'll see who
I just think obviously, it's a tournament, and as the tournament goes on, you expect it to improve. And I hope they improve, because if they don't, I don't even think it's, and if they are going to play against Malawi, that is if we even beat Mali, and I don't even want to start thinking about that quarterfinal game, because we need to get a job done against Mali.
Think about what is before you now.
And in like I said, they are just too slow. But when I watch Malawi, as well, Malawi are sharp, and that's how they got. Yeah. That's how they got past Zambia. That's how they got past Nigeria as well. They're sharp, and they've got some very good ball jugglers. They stunned me really when I saw them play, because I didn't expect that. Of course, we've got experience on our side. The team can become. We've got a great coach. I think it's one of the best on the continent. Yeah. You know, so that could be on our side. But we cannot rely on what we know from the last tournament we played. Looking at the 2 games we've played so far, there's so much the girls can do, and we need them to stop doing that. Otherwise, it really is a worry for me if we can even get past Mali and then now think about what's come next.
Hopefully, we'll not be worrying after that game against Mali. Lawrence Bedu. Is Lawrence there? I can hear you now.
Great.
Are you with the girls? The way you're smiling, what have they given you this evening?
I was just at the training grounds of South Africa, who are also living dangerously as far as their future in this tournament is concerned. So I just came to see their final training. They play Burkina Faso tomorrow.
Have the Queens have their recovery training session? How were they? Have you seen them?
I think before they moved out for the training, for the recovery session, we had the team hotel. They were all smiles. They know things should have been better against Cameroon. They admitted to not playing well, especially to some experienced players in the team. We believe the team has not really been able to produce the performances that many were expecting them to, especially considering how well they finished off last year's competition and their friendly matches that they played. It's been quite disappointing and underwhelming performance so far. But then the energy level is still high. Confidence is still premium. They are hoping to get back to winning ways. I mean, the good thing about them is they just put that defeat behind them, begin a new challenge, and what is supposed to serve as a recovery in the end becomes more like a preparation to the next game.
And have you been interacting with them? What sense do you get when you speak to them? Are these girls who are like, okay, there are some level of expectations on us based on what we did last year, and because of that, we need to do better this year?
Look, I think I had a privilege off camera to speak to someone like Jennifer Kojo and Chantal, and one thing they admit is the fact that for Chantal especially, she admits that she's not really been at the performance that made her the Chantal she is, because after, I think, 3 games in the group stage last year, many were singing praises, many were so invested in her as a player, but this time around hasn't happened, and she's very critical of the performances. She's hoping that she can do better. Jennifer Kujo mentions that yes, the targets or the objective has not shifted away from first getting to the quarterfinals and then taking it game by game. They know that anything below what they achieved last year will be an underperformance, which is why they are looking to immediately put behind that defeat against Cameroon behind them. So the girls are zoning into that game against Mali, knowing that a draw even though a draw would take them through, they are bent on picking up all 3 points, which is a positive thing, because if you're not thinking about the draw and thinking about winning the game, then it shows the intent. But then again, we saw that same intent against Cameroon. The only thing they admit, frankly, is the fact that they've been slow starters to games. Saw that against Quebec, saw that against Cameroon. The first halves haven't been too great. It always turns out to be that the second half is one that they want to show something. But then again, they need to move past starting games poorly and then going all out right from the start.
And that will be very important, going all out to ensure that they get victory against Mali to secure qualification to the next phase of the tournament. Lawrence Bedo of Joy Sports, bringing us every single thing you need to know about the African Women's Cup of Nations. He's been in Ghana's camp.
Lawrence something. Hi, Lawrence, sit here. Lawrence. Right, so I think, like you said, Chantal herself says that she's not had the best start to the competition. A couple of other players as well. I think I mentioned Asantua has been Asantua, but we know there's another level to her. She's just been flat. Kusi as well. What do you think is the coach trying to be too loyal to a lot of the players who were good for him the last term coming into this time? Or do you think he still has enough on the bench he can trust, having seen them train? Must he make some changes here and there?
We are not far from, he being loyal to certain players. And if you know Kim very well, he's that kind of head coach who, when he trusts a player, he always hopes that there's that one moment out of the blue that the player can blossom and bring the quality of her out. But then again, if you look at this squad from the first game that we saw, there are players who are constantly knocking on the doors, expecting chances to come to them. For instance, I'm going to mention a player like Linda Owusu-Ansah, who equally has the quality to come in and do what Chantal does. It might not be to the level of Chantal, but then she has that quality to play in tight spaces, pick up, do the basics, if I want to put it that way. And she has also the vision to create something from set pieces. So she's a player that many are expecting her to get minutes. Someone like Stella Nyameche, it's surprising that she's not even been warmed into games. That when the substitutes are preparing, Stella is still stuck on the bench. Quite disappointing, because look, last year we saw her come off the bench several times, and when she got not to be starting games, they seem to be a game changer. So look, as far as this squad is concerned, there are players who are on the bench and could be given opportunities and turn things around. It's all about finding the balance, and for Kim to trust them and know that if player A is not delivering, player B if not the same, has similar traits to come in and also produce the performance that Ghanaians expect.
Right.
Okay, Lawrence, thank you very much, and we wish you all the best. As I mentioned, our coverage of the Women's African Cup of Nations is courtesy Bank of Africa, as well as Gold Fields. That have made it possible for Lawrence Bedo to be there to cover the tournament. We are taking a quick break. When we come back, we've got lots more here to discuss on Sports Zone. Those were some matches in pre-season as clubs warm up, getting ready for the new European season. A couple of messages. This one says, Mensa from Tadi is wondering how our set was designed, whether it was Google AI or DeepSeek. And this one says, hi, Mufti, I am Ike from Kumasi. I am glad Manchester United is doing well in the pre-season matches, and I hope and pray they're able to channel that to their performance when the season begins. But for Yanum, Chelsea, their third position, the APL will be their best, especially now that they are signing 35 and 36 years old players. Greetings to my favorite Pandis, Danny K and Philip. Gentlemen, that's all time will permit us for tonight's edition of Sports Zone, brought to you by Guinness and SoccerBet. We are extremely grateful that they're part of this show. Also, thank you to Bank of Africa and Gold Fields for supporting us to cover the African Women's Cup of a Nation. We appreciate the relationship we have with you. Continue to enjoy the rest of our programs here on the Joy Palm channel. Also head on to myjoyonline.com for more sports stories. If you're a corporate organization, sign up to be part of this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament happening on August 29 at the University of Ghana.